turn to page 7 of Kurukulla prayer book. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha, Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. In the Buddha's Dharma and Sangha, until enlightened I seek refuge, through merit from giving and the rest, to aid all may I become Buddha. May all sentient beings have happiness and its causes. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and its causes. May all sentient beings never be parted from sorrowless bliss. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from bias, attachment, and hatred. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings, to you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. To the founder, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the one gone beyond, the foe destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, perfect in knowledge and in good conduct, Sugata, knower of the world, supreme guide of human beings to be tamed, teacher of gods and human beings. To you, the completely and fully awakened one, the endowed, transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subduer of the Shakya clan, I prostrate, make offerings, and go for refuge. When, O supreme among humans, you were born on this earth, you paced out 7 strides, then said, I am supreme in this world. To you who were wise then I prostrate. With pure bodies, forms supremely pure, wisdom ocean like a golden mountain, fame that blazes in the 3 worlds, winner of the best, Lord, to you I prostrate. With the supreme signs, face like spotless moon, color like gold, to you I prostrate. Dust free like you, the 3 worlds are not, incomparably wise one, to you I prostrate. The Savior having great compassion, the founder having all understanding, the field of merit with qualities like a vast ocean, to you, the one gone to thusness, I prostrate. The purity that frees one from attachment, the virtue that frees one from the lower realms, the one path, the sublime pure reality, to the Dharma that pacifies, I prostrate. Those who are liberated and also show the path to liberation, the holy field qualified with realizations, who are devoted to the moral precepts, to you, the sublime community intending virtue, I prostrate. Homage to the Supreme Buddha, homage to the Dharma refuge, homage to the great Sangha, to all 3 ever devout homage. To all worthy of respect, bowing with bodies as many as all realms, atoms, and all aspects, with supreme faith I pay homage. Do not commit any non-virtuous actions, perform only perfect virtuous actions, subdue your mind thoroughly. This is the teaching of the Buddha. A star, a mirage, the flame of a lamp, an illusion, a drop of dew or a bubble, a dream, a flash of lightning, a cloud. See conditioned things as such. Through these merits may sentient beings attain the rank of all seeing, subdue the foe of faults, and be delivered from samsara's ocean, perturbed by the waves of aging, sickness, and death. From Tushita's hundreds of God's protector's heart, to tip of this fresh, pure, white heap, curd like cloud, O Lobsang Drakpa, Dharma's omniscient king, Pray come to this place with your disciples. In space ahead, on lion throne, lotus and moon, venerable guru, smile brightly with delight. Pray stay hundreds of eons to spread doctrine as supreme merit. Feel for my mind of faith. Your wisdom mind sees full range of knowables. Your eloquent speech adorns fortunate ears. Your beauteous body, fame, glory, outstanding. Homage to you, worthwhile to think of, hear and see. Pleasant offerings of water, various flowers, fragrant incense, light perfume, and so on. Oceans of offerings set out and envisioned, offered up to you, supreme field of merit. Non-virtue committed with body, speech, and mind, which I have heaped up since beginningless time, especially what has contradicted three vows. Each I confess from my heart with strong regret. In time of strife you strove to learn and practice, shunned mundane concerns, made life essential. O protector from depths of our hearts, we rejoice in your powerful great deeds. Venerable gurus from love and wisdom, clouds densely massed in your Dharma Kaya sky, pray loose a rain of vast profound Dharma on fields of disciples just as needed. May whatever virtue that I've here gathered bring benefit to all beings and doctrine, and may it make venerable Lobsang Dragpa's essential teaching specially shine forever. Mig med se wei te chen chen reizig, three me kem pei wang po jom pel yang, du pung ma lu jom se sang wei dang, gang chen ke pe su gen song kapa, lob sang dra pe zabla so wadeb. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus on my crown, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments of body, speech, and mind. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness. Bestow attainments common and supreme. O glorious and precious root guru, pray take seat of lotus at my heart, caring for me with your great kindness, until supreme awakening remains steadfast. Homage to the exalted three jewels. Thus have I heard at one time the Blessed One was dwelling in Rajagriha on Vulture Mountain, together with a great assembly of monks and a great assembly of bodhisattvas. At that time, the Blessed One was absorbed in the concentration of the countless aspects of phenomenon called profound illumination. At that very time, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, the great being, was looking perfectly at the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom, perfectly looking at the emptiness of inherent existence of the five aggregates also. Then through the power of the Buddha, the Venerable Shariputra said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, how should a child of the lineage train who wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom? Thus he spoke, and the superior Avalokiteshvara, the Bodhisattva, the great being, replied to the Venerable Shariputra as follows. Shariputra, whichever son or daughter or lineage wishes to engage in the practice of the profound perfection of wisdom should look perfectly like this. Subsequently looking perfectly and correctly at the emptiness of inherent existence, five aggregates also. Form is empty, emptiness is form, emptiness is not other than form is not other than emptiness. In the same way, feeling, discrimination, compositional factors, and consciousness are empty. Shariputra, like this, all phenomena are empty, without characteristics, that is, they are not produced and do not cease. They have no defilement and no separation from defilement. They have no decrease and no increase. Therefore, Shariputra, in emptiness there is no form, no feeling, no discrimination, no compositional factors, no consciousness. There is no eye, no ear, no nose, no tongue, no body, no mind, no visible form, no sound, no smell, no taste, no object of touch, no mental phenomenon. There is no I element and so forth, up to no mind element, up to no element of mental consciousness. There is no ignorance and no cessation of ignorance and so forth, up to no aging and death, and no cessation of aging and death. Likewise, there is no suffering, no origin, no cessation, and no path. No exalted wisdom, no attainment, and also no non-attainment. Therefore, Shariputra, because there is no attainment, bodhisattvas rely on and abide in the perfection of wisdom, and because their minds have no obstructions, they have no fear. Passing utterly beyond error, they attain the final state beyond sorrow. All the Buddhas who reside in the three times by relying upon the perfection of wisdom become manifest and complete Buddhas in the state of unsurpassed, perfect, and complete enlightenment. Therefore, the mantra, the perfection of wisdom, the mantra of great knowledge, the unsurpassed mantra, the equal to the unequaled mantra, the mantra that thoroughly pacifies all suffering, since it is not false, should be known as the truth. The mantra, the perfection of wisdom, is proclaimed. Tayata gate gate paragate parasongate bodhisoha. Shariputra, this is how a bodhisattva, a great being, should train in the profound perfection of wisdom. Then the Blessed One arose from that concentration and said to the superior Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, the great being, well said, O child of the lineage, so it is. The profound perfection of wisdom should be practiced exactly as you have taught, and the Tathagatas will rejoice. When the Blessed One had said this, the Venerable Shariputra, the superior Avalokiteshvara, the bodhisattva, the great being, and the entire assembly, as well as worldly beings, gods, humans, demigods, Gadavas, and others, were filled with admiration and highly praised what had been spoken by the Blessed One. In the holy supreme abode of the Dakinis, possessed of clairvoyance and miraculous power, unwaveringly caring for practitioners as your children, homage to the host of the three places Dakinis. Hayata om gate gate peragate perasongate bodhisoha. Through the power of truth of the exalted three jewels speech, may all on the side of negativity, such as the four Maras, be stopped. May they become non-existent. May they be pacified. All enemies, obstructors, and hindrances, shante korie soha. The 80,000 types of obstructors pacified, free from adverse harmful conditions. May all be conducive in perfect auspiciousness, bring happiness and well-being here, right now. Sajipaki Jungshing Meito from Chongde songi chomna la jakju pardu dakdu kapsuchi dagi chonyen ge pesonam ki drola penchi sangre drupa sho. Chongde songi chomna la jakju pardu dakdu kapsuchi dagi chonyen ge pesonam ki drola penchi sangre drupa sho. Chongde songi chomna la jakju pardu dakdu kepsuchi daki chonyen kepe sonam ki drola penchi sangye drupa sho.
Good evening, everyone. How are you? After sunset, 2 hours after 2 hours, right? Too long night. Yeah, a lot of darkness. But people doesn't change their schedule, right? Oh. Anyway, it's good. Even we practice at night time, we very effort, right? What do you think? It correct? When we study night time. Yeah, right now night time. It's 2 hours ago. Anyway, it's wonderful. Come together to pray, study a little bit. And this Sunday we did also Avalokiteshvara and blessing or channel. Now you can also meditation for Avalokiteshvara. You can visualize yourself Avalokiteshvara. Then more powerful, more practice. Then usually Avalokiteshvara's colors are white. Also they shows to with complete peace. Of course it's peace in all the Buddhas, but they shows also for more peace. Then also people say who has more connection Avalokiteshvara, the person also become more peaceful person. Then just because our relationship, the deity, then how much you have connection with the Avalokiteshvara, then you become more like peaceful person. Depends also your practice. Then basically, I don't know if it's true or not. They say the Tibetans basically a little bit peace person. Not everyone, but basically, because they have more connection with Avalokiteshvara. Even the kids, they don't study, but even they grow up, they say, oh, we're not allowed to lie, we're not allowed to, kill, we're not allowed to. Still, like they automatically just there's some influence. Therefore, Avalokiteshvara also very special, powerful. Then, whenever you meditation, first also you just make for everything for empty, nothing exists inherently. And empty, then you can visualize like ocean of the milk. It's very called Home Jamso. Homa means milk, Jamso means ocean, milk ocean. In there you can visualization lotus tree. On the lotus tree you can visualize for they represent also wisdom and method. Of the top, then you can visualize this peaceful, beautiful Avalokiteshvara, forearm. See when you see like the picture. In the moment yourself also empty, when the empty then you become, there are so many different things, but you can visualize that you become Avalokiteshvara, or your rounds, or the Avalokiteshvara, or the Buddha's Avalokiteshvara. And the heart, the moon cushion of that is the sea. On the sea, then you can recite Om Mani Padme Hum, like a round. Om Mani Padme Hum, Om Mani Padme Hum. Then you share your blessing for all beings. They will be happy. You also receive the blessing for Avalokiteshvara. You feel also happy. Now you again, you receive again blessing, again blessing, again blessing, like that. The recite Om Mani Padme Hum. Om Mani Padme Hum everyone knows, right? It's very easy. Therefore, there are also big meaning. Om has 3 syllables. A, ma, o. O, a, ma. That means O, a, ma. Body, speech, mind. There are many different ways. The pe, me. Pe is lotus. Pema means man means jewel. The Pema means lotus. The man also representative for the wisdom method. Peme wisdom, which is representative and the method. Wisdom. The home also put like together. That's what he says. Therefore, we ask usually ask for Avalokiteshvara, please give me body, speech, mind, blessing. Right now our body, speech, mind is the control the delusions. And Avalokiteshvara, body, speech, mind is complete free from all the sufferings. Therefore we ask her, please give blessing like your body, speech, mind. Then practice wisdom and method. Then tujuko na karo. Tujuko. Honga ya tujuko. Tujuko na karo. Naro na se ro. So ta pa ro. What is the shita honla? Make the request for please grant me body, speech, blessing my body, speech, mind. The metok pemache. Also the Avalokiteshvara name because no pemache. Serious. This is the kasa. Okay, I finish my English. Shiridi and mean tell ya no pema chance, Pagan was no pema chance. Sepachilla, the days and no pema chance, and Ala Kuzu to Jungo Saro Nance, that the there is.
So syllable hum also represents making request to grant the blessings of the body, speech, and mind. And the other name for the Avalokiteshvara is one with the jewel and lotus, the one with the jewel and lotus. So which is also in the name of in the mantra, right? So Om Mani Padme, Mani is jewel, Padme is Padma, is the lotus. So the one with the lotus and jewel, please grant me the blessings of your body, speech, and mind.
Okay, and the share the Shandela and Tiva was, and tell novus, and Delaya Metosha, and Pemas, no Pema chance to so was.
And so he's holding a rosary, crystal rosary, in his right hand. That is also a jewel, and then the lotus on his left hand.
And
that also symbolizes the method and wisdom as well.
And the Shani, the origin there, they done tap the Sherani, and the Kadina, Tap Murua, Sanjivala, Metamurua.
And then two hands folded together in the middle symbolizes the unification of method and wisdom. So these two has to be there all the time in order for one to gain enlightenment. One cannot gain enlightenment without one or another. And so the bodhicitta, loving kindness, compassion, superior intention, they are all called a method.
And the Tony to Beshara, Dame to Beshara, Mataba to Beshara, and in Gubotan Shibiki Shirps and Zolata, Shirp like it was.
And then the wisdom realizing emptiness, wisdom realizing selflessness, wisdom realizing impermanence, wisdom understanding the phenomena, and so forth. These are all wisdoms.
Oh, Tendeza, and Tapta Shiram Ninyam Salambala Tini, and Papa Sherry the Taviga, and it goes to Jumuru, and the top Tarona, what was the Tana Reservoir.
And so we're saying that by practicing method and wisdom together, may I receive the blessings of the Avalokiteshvara's body, speech, and mind.
Okay? That the NATO, some the Shitanta, Tindred and Rajatan Ramana Mombo Yorina, the NATO some and Pento Yoresra.
So there are many different explanations, but if you can just think like that, it will be beneficial.
Ani Manan Tambala Tindi and Rova Riru the Jego Chelo Chu Yoresra.
And also, it says that by reciting the Om Mani Padme Hum six-syllable mantra, you close the door of the six realms. Six realms of psycho-existence.
And then Manandra Truki, any Java Ringa, Songres, and they also was. Manandra Tulaya, and then Sundon Dhamratanga was, or to the Java Ringa, or to Chene, Song was.
That also symbolizes the five family Buddhas. The six-syllable also symbolizes five family Buddhas.
They've been a color number at the
So it has different colors each syllable.
And then the Javaringa Chazan, this Kundomanda was.
The five family Buddhas have different color bodies.
Oh, the legend, and then Rajatan Damanamo Kanji, Ta, Papa Shere de la Sovata Man in the Bayana, and it's a Semji Shishitoy on the Hot and the Pengiore, and the Sharagi, Pentoshamboyores.
So if you recite Om Mani Padme Hum and make a request or pray to Avalokiteshvara, then that helps for your mind to become more peaceful and it will be beneficial in that way.
Okay, that's good. Oh, this shit. And then Manadin Yamlin Chujulang Siamers and Yamlin Pitchumore.
And so people usually think that Om Mani Padme Hum is very simple mantra, to recite. And so they consider that as a small practice, but you should not consider that as small practice. It's a great practice.
Okay. Oh, this is the name. Ngawang on the Geshe. So, like Geshe, like that, payment of Yamlamba Chambo in the years. And the consulate in Nepal, down today. Tangnaja, put you into a gay woman, the man put you through. And the get to the another chick. The man of the Michalang singer at Gay, not Shabano. And they get Jana Yapo, my Grita Nasa could love it again. And they Papa Sherry, the cloud, not your mother, so to Songres.
So, one of the great master in Seraja Monastery, known as Geshe Ogensedin, And so he used to, he's a great practitioner himself, and he used to recite Om Mani Padme all the time. So whenever people come asking for blessing, and they say, can you please recite some mantra, to get rid of my disease or get rid of my obstacles and so forth, then he will always recite Om Mani Padme Hum and then blow on them, with the Om Mani Padme Hum, and then like a blow on them. And that will like kind of remove their diseases or obstacles and things like that. So it helps a lot. But then some of his disciples, they thought that Om Mani Padme was a very simple mantra. Maybe, if he can recite some other mantras, more impressive mantras, then that will maybe impress the other people, And so they thought like that, and they were just like talking, kind of suggesting to him as a friend, as a friend or family, they're just talking to each other. And then Rinpoche said, there's no more impressive mantra than Om Mani Padme Hum. So if you recite, those wrathful mantras, of wrathful deity, then people think that's more impressive, it's more powerful and so forth. But it's not necessarily like that. Right? So they are all same being the mantras. So like Hayagirva mantra, if they think that's more powerful. But again, this is same, like how Hayagirva, Avalokiteshvara, they are same. Whichever you recite is a same effect. But people just think that Hayagirva has more power. So some lamas, very high, highly realized lamas, they have a power. Of course, it depends on the recipient's karma also. But but if the lama doesn't have power, then even if you have karma, you won't be able to receive that. Right? So, so they have to be both together. So anyway, so some lamas they have this power, and then when they blow this mantra on the people, and that can cure their diseases. Like there are some kind of sore in the body. The people get some sore in the body, which doesn't get better at all. And then this lama, they will go to the lama, ask them for a blessing, and then the lama will apply, recite this mantra and then blow on the butter, and then they take the butter and they apply, and then it goes away, right away, like that. So that's very, very impressive, like that. So yeah, in Tibet, like you won't find other ointments like Neosporin. There's no Neosporin. So you take a butter to the lama, and the lama will blow you, and then you apply that, and that will cure your wound or the sores.
They go to the CVS. go to CVS lama. Go to the lama. Gives the also lamas make some blessing, and also they give some water. They give blessing. Then, but sometimes also the animals, cows also some they wound. We never come. Then also they put the blessing water there. They will be completely dry. Therefore, they have some interconnection. The interconnection, they will walk. But for us, maybe you guys have like the power. Then we have not much power. We have no power. Sometimes we make worse. But even here, in Tibetan, the tradition is it's people, and even if they have something happen wrong, something here, they ask give lama to blessing. Shevna sava. The shevata then chumat tap the chigar was. Ko zona the kere came and then pengi was. Then the tradition to kun piasa was. Cheru chelangi over the chingy chivana. Ninkarawa.
So in Tibet also, the lamas will spit, they say Om Mani Padme Hum, and then the saliva that comes, from the reciting of the mantra is also blessed, so that they will spit on you the saliva, and that really helps, because people don't have that feeling of disgusting, they don't have that feeling and they don't have that superstition, and so when they receive that, they feel happy, and it really works, to cure their sores and diseases from their body. But maybe people here will not like that. They think, they think they don't have a germs, and they don't want to get all these germs. So, of course, people don't agree with that here, and maybe they will not even ask. So that kind of thing might not be helpful here, but that's how it is to be helpful in a place like Tibet and so forth.
Right? Here, oh, I don't like story. I don't like that. There is that one. Don't mean nam to ma yor was. So nam to kan se ma sam jini mile chamado ma yon do.
So here, the people have more superstitions. Then more superstition you have, more problems you face.
So, much at the kazi semba pusu to the nam to ma sam jini mile kangem ma tell. They just judge.
So people who are more stressful and who have more superstitions, they are there to face, they ought to face more problems. That's 100% sure.
그래서 of course, 그래서 semba shungo 말아. semba 가서 마셔 앉아. 가서 마물로 가나 코ኞ라 마야 봐. 나도 자쇼 나라지 잘라 루나 고수 대응 거 도도지 줄로 봐 대응 되는 거 지금 말아. 그 숨도 말아.
So it's like, that thing, that information doesn't fit in your mind, so that if you try to put that information in your mind, then it will, it will burst. So that's like, if the thing is already full, and if you try to, stuff more inside there, and it may burst. So it's just like that.
And the thing also, much the cultures looks so than each other.
So it's not one person's problem, it's like a culture.
Right? And then you luxo chi kadina chi mate karo. Ando karo. I don't know even not better word I say. Mutab de wasna karo.
Lelo.
Makarchina degree chi.
Flexible.
Yeah, or flexible. And they made to kanga kind of luxo flexible shira mendos. They mewa inza ta flag chu mewa inza chi mamboju kaji ngado accept che to meza ani sozo mendo je na mamboju oda ngado kange man tell was.
So people here are not very flexible in accepting other customs or cultures, and and so when then when they have this very stiff stressful life, then it's very difficult to make them relax. So that's why they have more stresses and more problems.
그러나 쇼치는데 룩소치 니니 더 가네나. 담보 주주권에 아직 다 산업재 당시 저와 인사를 왔어.
So one, of course, is the culture. The other one is the way they are brought up, right? So. Yeah. So that makes the difference.
다 간제 다 된다로 가나 가디나 지금 플렉스블 지야 돼 빼면서 가신 거래서.
So it's very important to be relaxed and more flexible.
가디나 지 가래만 다 지금 르도 그렇지 용거를 삼아도 대용 삼아 내용 삼아 아니 가디 용어 지어요 말했어. 되는 것이 뭐라서.
So it's important to think that it'll be all right, it'll be all right. And if you think that this will be not all right, this will be not all right, then there will be nothing that will be all right.
야 지금 르도는 야 기초주는 맞아도 되는 말이야. 그래서 기초자가 왔지 나야. 용거 먼저 삼에 샘틀레나 아니 가서 샘틀 부서 또 하잖아 그러고.
So even though if you say it will be all right, but if you don't move at all, and then if you sit there and then it will be all right, then of course it will not be all right. It won't happen by itself. You have to do it. You have to move around, make it happen, and then it will be all right.
Okay? 어디나 가디나 지금 선바대 그냥 뭐 지야 돼. 무슨 난 같이 뭐. 선바 가세 그냥 하나 근데 잘 보여. 아니 메들야 가지고 미강게가 소소야 마음보다 빠른 트윈트 받는 용으로 왔어.
And so it's very important, to be relaxed and then to accept, the things as they are, and not trying to, force one's own idea or thinking that this must be like this must be like that. Be more relaxed, and be more, get more along with other people, go with other people's ideas also, and then that way you'll be more harmonious.
근데 삼바 가제 포투 더 삼지가 아니 로바치라 로바니라 아니 로바니냐 아니 많이 소소 주벌 하는 거 왔어.
So more stressful or more stiff you are, then then there will be less friends. So that this person you are not flexible. So you lose this person, you lose that person, and at the end you'll be alone.
Okay. 어떤데 다 가디나 삼바푸수 도보 마치와치 and flexible 제대 나가지 못이라 그래서.
So it is important to not to be too stressed and be flexible.
아니 지금 삼삼 뭐 따와만다만들 뭐보고 직 나도 계시가 와다 직직어 대다 소소 레그레서 와. 아니 되게 연구 같아. 아니 간톱도 가지 수중원이 간톱도 제대 계지 못이라 와.
So sometimes, of course, you meet with the people who don't get along with you, with your view, but that's the karma. But from your side, you do your best, to help whatever way you can.
Okay, 다들 다음으로 가상된 고뇨사고 되다스.
So now we're going to start from where we stopped last time.
Okay, are you guys ready to homework? 가상도 가대사인 거.
How many did we cover last time?
First two, we did the truth of suffering and the cause of suffering, and then now we should start with the cessation of suffering.
다 저도 대학에서 와서 내가 로주 주룩세래 로주 주룩 가상도 넘버 아니 넘버 시당 아니 로주 시기 제 로사이 맞아. 그리고 남았지. 아니 로주 주룩 가상도 로주 제 셰타이 맞아. 동안마다 그리도 만지자.
So what we were talking about was the 16 distorted views, right? Or 16 wrong conceptions. So out of 16, we have already covered 8, right? And so today we're going to talk about the cessation and the path, right?
And then go there on Lamdening, Tambo Lamdeshik of Jessicanas.
And so among the two, true path and true cessation, what is the reason for explaining the true path first?
I think we talk 100 million times.
Out of true path and true cessation, what is the reason for explaining the true path first?
But you don't explain the true path, the cessation is first. And then with the true
Yeah, so what is the reason for explaining the true cessation first?
You know there is cessation.
Hmm?
You know that cessation is possible, liberation from samsara is possible, and only then can you learn the path.
Oh, that's good. Good. Everyone agree? Yeah. Also, Nasala try Yawa Yakuana, Nasala try type share was. And Nasala try Member Tojana, try type share was. Tend to Chupares.
So like if we see that there is a cure to the disease, then we'll apply a means to cure it, right? But if we don't see the possibility, the cure, then we will not take any medicine or anything, right?
What's that? Tambo Dungashi. And it dig your Kunju de Paya. Kunju Paya, the may at all more, do Kupasa and do's and Godesh. And it did to a Tajikanota, Lamde Congo, race, Lamde Shiva.
And so first it talks about the true suffering, and then it talks about the true origin, where the suffering comes from, and then it talks about the true cessation, and then talks about the true path through which one can achieve the cessation.
Okay, that is it.
And so now you know what are the 4 features of the true cessation.
So first we
talk about the 4 features, right, or 4 attributes of the true cessation. And then we're going to talk about so the true, the 4 the attributes or 4 features of the true cessation is the truth one, right? The real ones. And then there's the 4 distorted view or the 4 wrong conception of the true cessation. Those are the false ones.
Okay. Yes, who would like to volunteer?
I haven't memorized them, but I got them from Dhamma Rinpoche's The Wish Fulfilling Golden Sun. He has really well summarized.
Okay.
So the four, he call it the three true realizations, is being its cessation because it's not tied by delusions and karma.
No, you don't need to say the reasons, just give the names.
Okay. Well, it's true cessation, then it's peace, because it's not tied to delusion. It's perfection, because it's not tied or in the nature of. Because it's not tied and in the nature. Oh, it's because it is perfection because it's in the nature of happiness. It is the cure-all. It is that's what it is. And being definite removal because suffering won't be coming back again.
Yeah, that's right.
You got it?
What were the four? The first one is it's being cessation because it's not tied to delusion and karma. The second one is being peace because it's not tied to delusion. Then it's being perfection because it's not tied and in the nature. It is in and of itself happiness and the cure, the absolute remedy for the difficulties. And it's definite removal because it can't come back.
You got it?
What was the first one?
Cessation because it's no longer tied to delusion and karma.
Oh, okay.
You exhaust the causes of
So,
suffering.
so
I think you guys already put the note. If you go to check your note, you read many times this. Maybe you can put the note for the computer, easy to search. Otherwise, you read, put that, put that, then you don't know where, right? Okay, you got it? You got it?
yeah.
You don't got it? Good, that's the last one. Ngopa, Shawa, Jano, Ngenju. Right? 다 로주 가셔. 다 로주 샤바이나. 다도 뭐 고바 세로와. 아니, 딱 고바야 버려. 고바도 지 고바 세워지나 동아 빵에 잡아야 되는 고바라 버려. 스타. 데려와.
So now you understand what are the four features of the true cessation, right? So the first one is the cessation. So yes, the first feature of the true cessation is the cessation. Right? So cessation means to be free from the suffering, right? So to have the freedom from the suffering. So cessation here is to have freedom from the cessation. So when we talk about the wrong conception of that, thinking that there's no cessation, right? Thinking that there's no liberation. Thinking that there's no way we can be liberated. So that thought is the distorted view.
Okay? karena dunga pangda thawar was they me ban zibin zibada dunga mar dunga pawe pawati tharware they me ban zibin zibadi tang gopala lopashi was what.
So the cessation is the ceasing from the suffering, right? So when you have completely ceased from the suffering, that means you have achieved the cessation, which is the liberation, which is same as liberation, right? And so now thinking that there's no such kind of liberation, will be a distorted view. So the first of the four distorted view in relation to the true cessation is seeing liberation as totally non-existent.
Okay? It's correct, makes sense, right? And dunga that tawadla, I think I'm going to go to Tawala Chores. That day you are not going to Tatan Rosa.
So the liberation is the cessation of the suffering, right? And so if you think there's no liberation, then that will be a wrong conception. So that would be exactly wrong from thinking there is a liberation.
아니 때문에 와찬다고 그래서.
And so if you meditate on wisdom realizing emptiness, then you'll be free from the suffering. From all the suffering, you'll achieve the cessation, and so you will be free from this distorted view.
다 아니 다 니바드카리 아니 시와세 들어와 아니 시와세 다 대화 안 뇽모바 자와에서 시와들라와 그래서 하는 거 봐라.
So then second one is what? What's the second feature? Peace. What is the peace? Peace is freedom from?
It's not tied to delusions, you're free from delusion.
So free from delusion, yeah.
what 다 되기 아니 로주도 가르드나.
So they're free from delusion, right? So the peace refers to free from delusion. So that's the truth one. So what will be the false or wrong conception of that?
Tied to delusion.
Hmm?
So like thinking that the jhanas are liberation.
Thinking what?
Thinking the state like the jhanas, the mental states of mental concentration or liberation.
Oh, okay.
So the example that person gave.
Uh-huh.
가로.
그래도 사체 가셔야 되는 그 타바지 마세요.
야.
답변을 안 가도 돼. 3대 가셔야 타바지 마라. 3대 톱라든 타바토레스요.
어디서 돼? 어이. 야, 어느 삼대기 자원가시 대원 타원 좀 봐세. 어디 다 그래 들어와?
So yeah, that's right. So what is it? Jhana? Jhana? So what is that?
A state of mental
Concentration, yes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if other people understand jhana, which means state of concentration. So, so the concentration is the cause to be born in the upper realm as gods of the form and formless realm, right? So then when they are born there, then they think they are liberated. They are liberated. They will never die, and they will be always like that. So that kind of that's still contaminated, right? Contaminated. It's not free from all the delusions. Therefore, it's still contaminated. And so the wrong conception of that would be seeing certain contaminated features as liberation. So contaminated features, just like the concentration.
어디? 다 아니 숨바데 자네면 남바샤데 펜딩 오지 타와인 메시르스. 남바들 봐.
펜딩이?
펜딩 오지 타와인 메시르스. 펜바나 데비. 모지르 타와.
And then the third feature is what? Perfection. You said perfection, right? Excellence.
Yeah.
Excellence or perfection. So that's that itself is what? It's a liberation.
Yeah.
Right? It's a liberation in the nature of happiness and comfort and happiness, right?
다 테라 로바시와데 등어지 차원가식 점 자네면 타완 좀 봐세.
And so, that perfection, the perfect liberation will be the perfect happiness, right? So perfect, the excellent happiness or perfect happiness, and so that is the feature, the third feature of the true cessation, right? And what will be the wrong conception of that?
Okay.
You get delusions that are perfect. So the cessation, so the wrong concept is that, well, somewhere out there, there's some delusion that is actually perfect, which is wrong.
Mm-hmm.
가르쳐
So yeah, so that was seeing certain levels of delusion as liberation.
저도 대 가르고 온다.
What do you understand from that? So how will you see a delusion as a liberation?
Thinking that state of meditative equipoise, and when you learn in the form realm and the formless realm, and thinking that's liberation, but it's not.
Well, that was the earlier one, right?
Well, it is. But I think there's an example, in any case, to me it means that I think it's perfection to read state of single pointed concentration, but it's not. So you created wrong concept. That's how I see it.
that something said that 사실은 집어도 차서.
저저저.
그래.
whatever they say. You have some.
Well, I think it seems it's very difficult to distinguish some of these from the different points because they're almost the same. Because in here he says that point number 2 vague again, but even like maybe more intense and won't be in the formless realm, but they're almost the same. It's sort of hard to understand them.
Yeah, then Deborah, Kimber, you have, what they have any different? What they say?
I don't know the difference between the second and the third. Just hard to do.
Okay, anyone see any difference? Yeah, this is, I don't know exactly how can we explain, Dungaji Chawangashi Tianabi Tawan and Basana.
No?
Right?
Nyomo. Nyomo Kabalgashi, Tabat.
Dungaji Chawangashi Tianabi Tawan and Bas. Tamboda Sachinji Chawangashi. And the Sachinji Dewangashi, the Tawan, the Sachinji Dewa. The Tambode Sachinji Dewa, Kashita Tawan and Grace. They Sachinji Dewa said, Kananga to yes?
Yeah, they said that. Some they said something in Washi.
You found something?
Well, I'm just looking at my notes, and it seems that the second one, which is peace, in its true form is freedom from delusion. And the third one, perfection, is excellent happiness. So there's a difference between being free from delusion and being in the state of excellent happiness. So that to me seems like that's the two. That's the distinction between the two.
Number setting though.
The number the Lochiniga sure. The number the number Nibada somebody sure. So you're talking about the feature.
The two features.
The two features.
Between feature number 2 and feature number 3.
Yes.
Yes.
So that is not the question, Geshe. He was
Right.
asking about the wrong conception. The wrong conception 2 and 3.
Right, but the wrong conceptions would apply then only in the negative form.
That he lost it what the is.
Painting which with Tawa
It would be conceptions that are tied to delusion and then finding happiness in that. That's how I see it. Because I got peace and excellence in my notes as well. So if you're doing the opposite, it would just be set of conceptions not for the second one, set of conceptions not tied to delusion, be conceptions tied to delusion, and then being happy with that, for deriving some kind of pleasure out of it.
그러다 녀목하셔야 되는 소소리다 야구진 야구통래 다 들려 탈바진 봤어. 녀목하라.
녀목 권았다고. 때내려 올라가도 땐데 이거도 고문다. What 이건 you? Like that, I don't know very exactly what they talk about.
Oh, okay.
Like that, there's some kind of sufferings we identify as happiness. Okay, Ian, yeah. What do you have?
Seems like the difference between the second and third one is in the second one it talks about being reborn in the form and formless realm, mistaking that for liberation. The third one is talking about mistaking a delusion being liberation. So one seems like a type of existence, the other one talks about a delusion in particular.
그래. 다시 다 차한테도 다 당보 니바디 타 3대인데라 내가 탈바진 버렸어. 근데 순바디 되는 녀목하라 탈바진 버렸어. 너 two 달라도 단단하게 하고 말아. Yeah, of course, that's what it says in the word here. But what do you mean by, a delusion? Considering delusion as the liberation. What kind of delusion? And why would you think? But in the second one makes sense. Like if you achieve in a higher state of rebirth as a form of formless realm God, then you think I'm free from cycle and I have achieved liberation. That is possible to happen. And of course it's happening to many sentient beings. But, so which sentient being, or what kind of sentient being thinks that delusion is liberation?
Okay, now, yeah, who's coming, who's not? Okay, yeah, first Marian, then Kimber, then Annette, then you, okay? Okay, yeah, you have a question? Or you answer? Wait.
Oh, well, I don't want to try to respond to what Damsho just asked, but I
I was thinking that with the third feature, the wrong view, wouldn't the wrong view of the third feature be that you don't think excellent happiness is possible?
그래서 저놈 세들라 저기다 가서 펜데 기 타도디 펜 타바지 마세요. 타바 되다는 펜데 타도랬어요. 펜데 야셔 됐다. 펜데 야셔 됐다는 다 어디다 가서 타바지 뭐라서. 다 뒤는 뒤 타바 매진 받으라 되네 럭셔 샤워 말았어.
대들어 당가서 이게 되 배잖아 샤도 고대 샤면도 대면서 말라면도 등원이 샤고 다 완전 봐서.
Yes, yeah, that will be a wrong conception, right? To think that liberation is not the real happiness. So here is saying that liberation is the real happiness. In the future, it says the liberation is the excellent, happiness or the perfect happiness. So wrong conception would be like not thinking that liberation is not the perfect happiness. So that would be that. But in the text, where it talks about the wrong conception, it says, and seeing certain level of delusion is liberation. So what does that mean?
No, the logic the share.
So in the text that explains about the wrong conceptions.
Which text? What's it in the text?
No,
저도 전화도 시에 되게 생각 코드한데 또
the text on Four Noble Truths.
예. 단다 전화도 시에도 단다 대블라서.
So Deborah, you have the text that you did.
코드한데.
It's not really comment here, it's comment here. I think that, I'm not sure the text is translated.
야, 이제 다 코드한데 배신도 소리죠.
Yes, so those are the text.
야. 단도 장기 관계 코드한데 또 요새 다 코드 레시스 오자면 안 되라다 하세.
So Marion, you have the text.
No.
Not for the
I mean, no.
not for the wrong conception, only for the features.
Oh, it's the opposite, Jerry. Well, I don't have any of the official texts. Oh, I mean, I have,
Commentary from Rinpoche.
yeah, commentary. I just the Wishful and Golden Sun, where it's very small commentary from Rinpoche, and in the same book.
So, but it doesn't talk about the wrong conception. It only talks about the features of the Four Noble Truths.
It has the features and the wrong conceptions right next to each other, but it's
Oh, okay.
the second, the wrong conceptions of the second and the third one. It says the second one that any phenomena arising from delusions are peace, and that's what we said.
Contaminated, yeah.
And then the third one, it says that some delusions are perfect. That the wrong conception is that some delusions are perfect.
Oh, okay.
But now, yeah, I was going to say how can you even think that?
Oh, yeah. I mean that was possible. That's the wrong conception. But it is possible to have that thought, thinking that, oh, I'm attached to my family. That's all right, So thinking like that, so or attached to my son or my daughter, my husband or my wife. So thinking like that, oh, that's all right, So that kind of, it's still attachment, So it brings suffering and so forth. So maybe that makes sense, But to think that delusion is liberation, like it says in the text, then that is a little bit confusing, right?
Yes, yeah.
So Dante's question, I think, was what kinds of beings believe that this delusion is
Liberation.
liberation, and those beings would be the form and formless realm gods, who still hold 4 of the 5 contaminated aggregates. So even though they think they're gone beyond, they still have contaminated aggregates.
So they do have, right? They have the contaminated aggregate, but how do they think? How do they think that delusion is liberation? How do they think that attachment that they have, or anger or jealousy that they have, is liberation?
I'm not saying that they believe that.
That's what he's saying. That's the text saying that seeing certain level of delusions as liberation.
You can get attached to the teachings themselves, right? You can get attached to Dharma.
But that's good.
But it is, to a certain point, but if, you're still onto it, then it's
Can create a problem. Yeah. So like if you have, what do we call that? Harsa. We call it, literally it means like grasping at yours. grasping at yours, so which means grasping at your religion as the supreme religion, and then thinking others are inferior or not correct and so forth. So then that can bring problem, So that kind of attachment or and a delusion towards towards Dharma would be not so good.
Okay, and then
Oh yeah, I mean, I was going to say that these states of mind are that people get attached to when they're on the path, like anyone who's a meditator, you get attached to the jhanas, you get attached to the phenomena and think this is like I've achieved a higher state of enlightenment. But if we move ahead a little bit and look at the actual mantra, it says go beyond those states. So that's why these markers that you hit through meditation can become your downfall, or can become where you get stuck. So you have to be aware that there's something beyond. So I think that's what he's saying.
okay, 나 jangal touches the matter wa. Niligi langi de kanji tenigo suzu dewa nzange dewa te kudunga musang songa marase. Dungaji chawanga ji tawan sa balagan was. Kanji dungaji chawanga ji dewa sa balagan ngaso te
Nyomo kyo hashi.
nyumo chawaga ji endana ro nyumo kaji dewa sa balagan. Tenigo
Nyomo kyo gashi tarwa zimbas.
tawan sa bas. Tenigo nzange digi 강한 자한테 용을 받고 그거 말했잖아. 좀 갈라서.
So like what Annette said, what you said, Annette, the person who has attachment towards his jhana or the concentration, does he know that it's attachment? Does he know that it's a delusion? No, doesn't know, right?
That's correct. 나도 이제 동안도 왔어. 이제 동안은 내가 다 자고 있어. 가지 다 된다. 이제 동안으로 그래 자고 타와도 가지. 이제 동안 당번 가서 대화서 나도 동안 병고신 거 말아. 그 동안 어쩌고 왔어. 되는 거랬어. 근데 고된다고 되는 거였어 말했어.
So similarly, like thinking being in the when you're feeling so cold, thinking being in a hut, will be happy, perfect happiness, right? But is that really happiness? No, right? It's like what true, suffering of change, right? That changes later. After some time, it changes into suffering. But we have that grasping or thinking that would be the perfect happiness.
Does it make sense? I don't know. 나도 삼좀 고도문도 와요. 세워진 봐. 근데 싸움 말하는 다 대래서 뭐 싸움은 파다는 거는 나도 고가를 가고 나. 되네로 있어요. 와서. 그래서 아니 의도 그런 동화가 제가 임바지. 얘나야 간등이 그런 게 동화 잡아 하고 가지 때 야보래 했었는 게들라. 와다 동화지 잡아. 용업이 잡아 가지 타원 좀 봐서.
So yeah, it happens, to the people who doesn't know it is a delusion or who doesn't know it's a suffering, right? So people think that, the suffering of change, which is usually suffering, but, we think that it's a happiness. So when you're hungry, you eat, you think it's, happiness, right? And so it's similar to that, people who doesn't know that's a delusion, and that happens to be a delusion, like being attached to their ani or their concentration, and that's also attachment, but they don't know, and they think that is perfect.
당게 담보처럼서 지로네 아직도 뭐라도 안 해요. 고마잘 내는 실례봤나? 나를 말려면 갈아야 장모처럼 나를 봐도 it's perfect. 아주 소화 대화로 용서도. 근데 대대 갈래까지 니쇼면도 와서 고등한 거 받쳐서 되노.
So when you came from outside, you were cold, and then the moment you came in, you will feel warm and nice, and you think, oh, this is perfect and happiness. But then after some time, then you feel too hot, you feel lazy, you get sleepy, and these things, right? So a lot of that thing comes from that warmth.
뭐 근데다 소소가 대화를 썸데 대다 동화 용어 있어서 그는 뭐 받쳐서 와서 사진지 자원까지 타원 좀 봐세요. 자, 좀더 와서.
So because those changes into the suffering, and therefore because suffering, and so grasping at that as a happiness, a perfect happiness, there will be a wrong conception.
Right? 근데 고소 와서 어디지? 그러다 인제 싸워 두사도 차상 싸워도 찍찍발이 와야나 하다니 같이 대신 싸워들래. 요나서면 당하는 대신 싸워. 저저 도움도.
And so, I mean, I don't have exact answer to this either, you know, so we're just all discussing here. You know, you bring some ideas, the other person, you know, each of us bring different ideas. So it's good, we're learning from each other, like that.
Okay, 다 아니 시와드 가래다.
What's the fourth one?
Liberation.
Definite emergence, definite removal, renunciation. What else?
라마도 비타와 임시들어. 라마도 비타와 임시들어.
Why is it called definite removal or definite emergence?
Because you're no longer tied to your delusions.
Huh?
The delusions are gone. No more suffering can arise. Once you cleanse yourself of all the suffering, then it can't come back.
You can't come back?
Well, the suffering won't come back.
Super won't come back, yes.
Once you cleanse the full suffering of all delusions of karma, the suffering of that will come back.
Okay, 다들 로직 가래 봐.
Yeah, is that anybody has different, or you all agree with that? So yeah, that's the different in a definite, you know, or renunciation or definite, you know, emergence, definite, you know, removal. That's what it means when it will not come back again. So if it's not definitely removed, then there's a chance of coming back, right? So if it's definitely removed, then it will not come back at all. So, so that's the feature of the true cessation. What is the wrong conception?
So the suffering can come back, but it is not definite.
그래, some come back.
But it is not definite. That once you've achieved it, no, you can actually, the suffering can come back again.
Thinking that it will come back again.
Yeah.
Even after you achieve liberation, thinking that you still have suffering.
You can fall back again if you still have suffering.
Well, isn't that an indication that you haven't cleared all your delusions?
Yeah, you're not there yet.
So maybe the wrong view could be thinking that you've cleared all your delusions, but actually you haven't, so.
You will come back.
Yeah.
So what comes back?
The suffering. Because you haven't cleared your delusions, you're going to suffer the karma that goes along with the delusions that you haven't cleared.
Yeah, I thought, Annette, you got the answer. Yeah, that's true, right? You know, I mean, so when you remove the delusion, then you will not have the suffering. That's true. So anyway, I mean, that's also thinking that even after you have removed the delusion, thinking that you still have suffering would be wrong conception, because you won't have. But you know, the wrong conception that is explained in the text. You have the name. Anybody has a name for that?
You got it? No one got it? What?
So the wrong conception, you know, of the definite emergence. What will be the? So do you know the name? You have the name, or you don't have? So like in the text in Tibetan it says Nyomo Lenji Pangjang Lar Dobo Zimba. So it says apprehending the return of delusion which has been already discarded. So if you have abandoned the delusion, you know, it will not come back. But even after having abandoned the delusions, thinking that it will still come back will be the wrong conception. So it's very similar to the suffering, but in the text it says the name in the text, you know, is the delusion. So thinking that delusion will come back even after it's abandoned.
Does it make sense?
So once you have eliminated the delusion, it will not come back. In the cessation, you know, in the true cessation, it will not come back. You know, in our case, you know, when we have not reached that level, we may say, okay, I'm going to give up this thing, but then after that, sometime then we may still have it. So that is not totally given up. We haven't abandoned yet, you know. Temporarily we stopped it, but we haven't abandoned it. So once you have abandoned it, then it will never come back.
This makes sense? Is any different examples? Do you have any some different text?
No, it's pretty much the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, when you guys next time, you know, when there's some question coming, try to read your own note and read another books, okay? Otherwise, you people never read again your notebook. The other one do you just wet pepper. Just leave that. In the some of the cannot, then you look at another place. This was a good chance to read again your book. This also give more homework because easy to book another book, right? Oh yeah, they book talk with they got to have that. So your own maybe you read maybe a couple of times, now you don't read. Okay? Oh the chitanga to that and goba got a low shit just was.
So we're familiar with the four conceptions, wrong conceptions related to the true true cessation, right? And now we go to the true path. What is true path?
The path to the cessation of suffering. Suffering from the cause.
고바 토백이 람데로 람데스.
고바토 람데. 다 바지단리로 강사다면서 비시치지스. 람지 나바샤데스.
So what will be the example of true path?
Oh yeah, they are.
I mean, in the text I was reading, it said the noble eightfold path. That's
발랄하게. 발랄하게.
들어 누구로? 아니 돈이가서 도비 쳔바, 남에가서 도비 쳔바라고.
What else?
발랄하지 주는 발랄하지 갈라내 주 샤시가 말아요.
So what are the four noble the eightfold paths?
I think
I wrote it down. It's right view, right
때 야도 때 가다 좀 고 비슷하네.
Yeah, I mean that's good. That's correct example. But what will be, can you simplify anything which we normally talk about? Eightfold paths we don't normally talk about. So you have to explain about that again. So what is example of true path?
I think I read once that in our tradition, the Eightfold Path is contained within three trainings: virtue, meditation.
Within three training?
Within the three trainings, that contains the Eightfold Path. And my source for that is
Deborah?
one of the Four Noble Truths. She gave me the book. She was the author.
Geshe Dashi, the book that Kim was reading. Geshe Charing Geshe Dashi, in any case. But isn't the path also realizing emptiness and realizing selflessness?
Exactly. So the wisdom realizing emptiness directly will be the true path.
Okay.
That's the example. Okay?
This is really example easy one. On the eight paths is a good, but you have to also what is eight path then? What that means? Then I said, oh, I think I told also many times.
So not just wisdom realizing emptiness, but wisdom realizing emptiness directly. So the wisdom that realizes emptiness directly, it has to be that, right? So true for it to be true path. So we can say wisdom realizing emptiness within the continuum of Arya being on the path of seeing, Arya being on the path of meditation. Or other wisdoms also, like wisdom realizing selflessness or wisdom realizing impermanence and so forth, right?
Okay? That thing Muslims that tell lam lord, the Kaja lam lord, no?
So it's a true path, right? And it's a path. So it's true path, so it's a path also, right? Why is it called path?
I don't know, you have to walk
Way
along
to
it.
liberation.
Something to be followed to a destination.
So because Lagos the Lagos 진짜 람사.
타와 드바시 라미 미셔스. 타와 토발라 아니 냠내 제거디 아니 시바디 인자 람딘자 아니 람라 바레서 봐.
It's called path because it's the path to liberation, enlightenment, right? So, yeah, so in order to achieve liberation, in order to reach the liberation, you have to go through this practice. Therefore, this practice is called path. Method. Yeah.
담에 또 타와라 가나 다음에 또 별 남들 냠살 남발한테 타와 토고한테 타와 남발해서 걸. 그배로 오잖아. 남은 또 별로. 람 가르나 대냠살 남발한테 타와 토고에다 걸 남발해서.
So what is the path here again? The wisdom lies in emptiness.
Okay.
Don't confuse you. Okay, so wisdom lies in emptiness. So that will be the path. So through practicing that, you will achieve liberation. Therefore, it's called path.
Okay.
Through practicing wisdom lies in emptiness directly, or wisdom lies in emptiness, and you will achieve the liberation. Therefore, it's called path.
아니, 니반 가르다. 대 람셋.
So that was the first one, right? The first feature of the true path. What's the second feature?
Reason? I have reason.
Reason?
Reason, yeah.
R-E-A-S-O-N?
Mm-hmm.
Reason. Junjinsa. Huh?
Okay.
Well, I have being wisdom because the path goes against all delusion.
Well, this is a good idea.
What else? Who else?
Deborah?
Appropriate means
Appropriate means.
or the appropriate methods.
답이 안 나와.
그냥다봐. 어떤 디나라 배진나 뉴모비 니니에서 아니를 발라 버렸어.
원인.
니니 뭐. 뉴모비.
거주도 발라나.
다 발라 버렸어. 갔나?
리발한다 쉐발라 거라.
시발라 버려. 랑간 가다 못도 저도 저 뉴모비 니니에서 발라 버렸어. 람을 봐서.
So first one is the path, and the path to liberation, and of course it's the wisdom lies in emptiness directly, and and the second one is called awareness. Awareness, and so the reason why it's called awareness.
그런 게 먼저 저 뉴모비 니니에서 아니
Riba.
발라 버렸어.
And because it is a direct antidote, it's because it's a direct antidote, to it is opposite delusion, right? To the delusion, and therefore it's called awareness.
Okay? Does it make sense? Okay? Any different you guys have? 대치 다 안에 쓰면 가래.
What's the third one?
Attainment.
Attainment, yeah.
Okay?
What else? Same?
Good? Everyone follow same direction?
Attainment. Okay.
가질 나왔다.
Why is it called attainment?
Can only happen by following the path.
남들 때는 두번여봐 있었는데 더 두번알았어.
How you guys say?
Well, mine says being attainment because it is fully attained through fully realizing the nature of the path.
That's same, yeah, same. Deborah have same? Kimber, I think Kimber and Mary have same, right?
Yeah, it's called achievement.
Okay. Deborah has same?
His translation sounds a little bit different. He called it means for actualization.
Same, yeah. It's achievement, yeah. 두배 탑스.
두배탑. 그리고 샘진내로 신발로 두배탑. 어떻게 다? 이러고.
가르쳐?
샘진내로 신좀 말로 봐 두배셔스. 네. 샘진내로 신좀 봐 두배셔. 이러. 신좀 말로 봐 두배셔. 다 아니 시발 가래.
So yeah, so the third one is attainment, right? Achievement or achievement. Simply nilu. 신지마고. And so it says like achieving the wisdom that that realizes the nature of the mind unmistakenly.
다 해본 집에 남았어야 돼. 동아 댄스 비 타와.
And then what is the
동아 댄스 비 타와 미시. 라미 미시.
Okay, and then what's the fourth one?
As remover, being a definite remover because it eradicates the whole of delusion, the over-delusion.
가르쳐 저런 거라래?
동아 댄스 시 라미 미시. 댄스.
Yes.
시 빌람.
Okay. So what else do you have?
I think these are just different names, but basically the same thing. Mine says certain liberation.
Certain liberation.
When all obscurations are finally removed.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. So that's the fourth one, right? So definite freedom or definite emergence. Yeah.
Okay. 다들 로즈 시샤가 다 로즈 다들 당긴 고도에 집발해.
So those are the four features. What are the four wrong conceptions of those.
First we said that it's a path, there is the path because you realize it through non-selfness is the true path, and then the wrong concept is that there is no path to liberation.
야, 다 가지 타와토야 요 말에 사제 요 말에 어디는 그냥 다 타는
Tarbato lam yomalas.
요 말에 타와토야 요 말에 왔다는.
Yeah, that'll be right, yeah. So the path, right? So there's no path. So no path to liberation.
그리고 아니 이봐
So there's a seeing the path to liberation as totally non-existent. So what would be the second one?
There's no antidote.
you
No
said that
antidote.
If we're saying awareness, then that means direct antidote, than to say that there are no antidotes.
Mm-hmm.
Totally helpless.
Mm-hmm.
or Devra. I think Devra is a little different way.
The slightly different says that using meditation to understand selflessness is inappropriate, it will not remove suffering.
Mm-hmm.
그래서
그래, 나 다음에 또 배치로 답을 많이 받지 마.
yeah, this same yeah.
So there'll be like seeing that the wisdom understanding selflessness as not a path to liberation.
다른 가서로 와 랑민이 집에 아니 뇽모 민이자 그걸 봐라 그래서 어때 말했어. 근데 다음에 또 이시대 다른 말에 좋은 내가 말했던 거 들어봐.
So earlier we said, because that is the direct antidote, to its delusion. Therefore, so what would be the direct antidote, to the delusion? Would be the wisdom realizing selflessness or emptiness, right? So here it gives the example, it's a selflessness, the wisdom realizing selflessness, so thinking that would be, that is, so saying that is the antidote, to the delusion. And here is saying that is not the path or the antidote, not an antidote to delusion or not a path to liberation.
다시 와디 가임 봐. somebody 가임 봐.
And what is the third one?
What Devra have?
The third conception, wrong conception.
Yes.
Holding that certain specific states of mental stability alone are pathway to mind leading to liberation.
I think you're the same. What do you have, Sam?
I have here that the attainment in meditation, such
Such as ordinary samadhi meditation or chakra meditation, without full renunciation of samsara, is the path to liberation. So you incorrectly see that these meditations and partial paths is actually the path to liberation.
Yeah.
Yeah, then someday chawangaji tawan zambas, tanam zambas.
So yeah, so I see the same here. Seeing certain levels of concentration as the path to liberation.
Then that someday 동부 니파 순백이 응이죠. 토바이나 타와 톱상 섬에 가다까지 someday 그러 was. 어다던 소리 앞에 그랬어.
So this is referring to those, meditators, when they have different level of the first concentration, second concentration, third concentration. So when they reach like a second, third, or fourth concentration, then they think they have achieved liberation. So this is the wrong conception.
뭐지? 다시 와대 누가 땐데스 비 다른 매번 좀 봐.
And then what is the fourth one?
sort of keeps going back that, the fourth wrong conception is that there is no path to complete cessation of suffering,
Mm-hmm.
which is the opposite to it being the definite path. So now
Yeah.
but it seems like a lot of times that the wrong conception is that there is no path.
Mm-hmm.
So in any case, it seems like that is a really wrong conception. It keeps going back.
Yeah, so saying that there's no path, right, leading to total exhaustion of suffering.
Okay? So good. I think now we got 16 all. Number no 로준이가 라서 was.
So we got both, right, the feature and the wrong conceptions of the 16 wrong conceptions and 16 features, of the Four Noble Truths.
다 주마케 제트나 수수 노트 집시 로월 들어.
So please read your notes. So next time when people ask you, you have answered.
that was we just read paper. Okay. 다가서 주제 셔봐야 돼. 다 담보 누가 되면 되지 쇼도야.
So can you give example of the true suffering now? What would be the example, an example, illustration
대마시 시시시 대마시 무지서 말하는
yeah, of the true suffering? We've been talking a lot about true suffering, true or Four Noble Truth, right? So what would be the example of true suffering?
Yes? Yeah, go ahead. Who? 글쎄,
사지 공부.
사실 부모가 가늘이다. 가오래.
동화된 말이었어.
사실 부모가 가늘이라고.
So what kind of, what kind of contaminated aggregate?
그리고
수기본보.
수지 수공보다 더 나도라고 이러.
삭제기.
다 사체 삼에 대한 다 요렇게 차이다.
So who's form aggregate? Sentient being. 샘증이 주기 사제 공부.
아니, 가진 누가도 말했나?
Why is it true suffering?
Good.
Common delusion.
That's good. Okay. That's good. Anyway,
Is
are
that
you
right?
sure? Are you sure?
Why not any contaminated aggregate?
Under the power of common delusion.
가르소. Any?
Any contaminated aggregate.
가르소.
So it doesn't have to be.
가르전에 풍부주의 버렸어. 가르전에 속에 풍부주의 버렸어. 가래 풍부 가래나 되게 말했어.
Any result of karma and delusion.
야, 단지나 이바들에. 이집지 수입을 하고 말았어. 간지 레더 뉴모 것이 추진나 내가 누가 자로 동안 된 봐.
Yeah.
telling us that they were not the only time that he can they shall go.
줘봐 근데 가르쳐?
They know why no young.
어.
The Yamashijani.
근데 저지 잡셔도 콜라.
Let the new mo show China and it did not marry. And the laptop was. There is a young thing about the tail of Javaina. Young could pass the one of the tangle was 10 years through. And the Egyptian do up got a pumble lago more as well. Can you let the new mo show China and do the baby?
Yeah, so of course you don't have to say, the aggregate of form. You can say anything that comes from the karma and delusion is true suffering.
Okay? Yeah, what you?
Just a point of clarification on what Bob just said. Aren't aggregates contaminated by definition?
공부에는 가서 사실 거 말했어.
풍부한 바지 사치 삼매지 풍부세 요래 바지 요래 왔다.
So there's no uncontaminated aggregates?
That's my question.
Yeah. No, that's a counter question. So you said, isn't every aggregate contaminated? So then our question is there no uncontaminated aggregates? Isn't there uncontaminated
저도
aggregates?
사치에 저도 가능한 거든요. 사치에 돼.
So what is contaminated? How do you define contaminated? Why is something called?
Arising under the influence of karma and delusions.
그럼
레뇨기 종아들은 사셨어.
아마 사치 온 게 사치 된다 봐.
레뇨기 종아들은 사셨어.
레니 오셔. 다 사치에 돼 콜라미니 뉴모 봐야 제대로 뭐 받아 순대거든 쟁이지나 사치에 생각도 더 이상으로 안 되는 지나. 사치에 돼 되지. 콜라 밑바닥 소대 가는 거는 뉴모와 제게나 사치에. 나도 좀 사야서.
뉴모 교육에서는
뉴모 제스로
뉴모 뛰어와.
뛰어와로.
베네디 조즈라고.
뉴모 첸로 대나 사치 잘 오르지.
So, well, Geshe's definition is anything from which the delusions rise. By depending on that or through that, if the delusion arises, that is contaminated.
Excuse me. 대나다 쪽제대 사체에 와서는 좀 가져가겠어.
So is this table contaminated? Yes, no?
너라. 다 세자면 다 세면 이제 대동 살다. We not debate that we times go. Okay? 단 바지 동아야 다 근주대 맞춘 셋이 있습니다.
So how do you define? Depends on how you define the contaminated, right? So if you say, like Geshe said earlier, anything from which if the delusion arises by depending or through which, then it's contaminated. Then through this one you can delusion arise, right? Delusion can arise by depending on the table. Attachment can come from that table. Oh, this is very nice, very beautiful. Yeah, I should have it.
Okay.
Yeah, but through that, right? The delusion in my mind arises through that. I see the table, and then table makes me think, oh, I want to have that table. If there was no table, I would not have that. Mind thinking I must have that table.
But it's still the object of your attachment.
Yeah, it is. But from there, it comes the attachment. So it has to have object, right?
It was created by someone saying, I want to make a table. And so the person who created it had an attachment to make the table.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
But it seems to me that the contamination exists in the mind perceived, that's experiencing the attachment on the basis of apprehending the table, but does not exist in the table itself.
No. Attachment cannot have, the table cannot have attachment. The attachment is an element, but from there can come the attachment.
The table cannot have the contamination, only the mind can have the contamination.
No, so based on the definition, anything that gives rise to, through which or by which, if the delusion rises, then that's contaminated, right? So by that definition.
Oh, I see.
So then the table should be contaminated because by depending on table, you can have delusion rise in your mind.
Okay. Ian?
An uncontaminated aggregate would be the Buddha's Dharmakaya form, because it didn't arise from karma delusion, it arose from wisdom.
Yeah, that would be right.
So just also, what's the definition of an aggregate, just to be clear? Some people
풍보세는 가서 그래.
Form, feelings, composition.
공부가 아니라 뭐지? 나도
뭐 풍보세는 가서 왔어. 풍보는 가도 열어있나. 풍보세는 가서 왔어.
아니 시동 공부해야 돼. 다 시동 가도 다 단대기 때문에 가도 sem신 누구나 주 투원 대신 나빠지고 풍보세 꼭 다시 와라 봐서. 간지
풍보세는 초보세 와라.
저도 초백에 딱가로 시동 나 나도 주 풍보로 올라나 지금 망보진 되네 지금 루루 제자가 나네 저기 풍보세. 다 토 풍보세나 아니 다 되는 좋아들어야 풍보지 봤다 하셔 버려. 이제 풍보세는 지금 초바지 루루시.
또 다음에 들어. 저 몽보라. 저 내가 저 다녀. 그래서 저에서 초보들어 되는 풍보세.
저의 풍보세. 어떻게 들어가서 초바지.
So I mean, just as in English, aggregation or aggregate, right? So means what? Collection of many things. Yeah. So there's a form. There are many different kind of form, right? So when we talk about the form here, we're just not talking about just the body. We're talking about the five senses also, the eye, ear, nose, tongue. So all this collection of all this is called a aggregate of form. And then aggregate of feeling, there's a happy feeling, sad feeling, or neutral feeling. So feeling, aggregation and a collection of all this is called a feeling.
You use the example of the table can give rise to a delusion. When the Chinese invaded Tibet, to them was a Buddha Shakyamuni statue a contaminated aggregate because they looked at it as negative and they destroyed it. And that's just an example.
That's a good question. Right?
By his definition, yes.
This really good question. Right? 대단한 가서 사체 삼매세서 데이터 그러고 다 남바 코너게 시작으로 되셔야 되게 들어왔어.
맞아, 율들 때네. 차바 계기에는 차단 계기에는 안테 다 사체에서 배는 때는 저기다 주대되는 사체를 했어.
대 말했어.
가서 때는 세단계 왔어. 재미도서 세단계 왔어. 혼자 좀 다시 채워놨어.
대전을 해야 돼. 다다 채워서. 이나야 딱 아주데 다다 되니 셔야 돼. 셔다디. 저거보다 아니
저런 진실은 이거 뭐다.
진실은 저는 셔요.
응?
저는 셔요.
그랬어.
사체나 삼매세. 미바당 소대 가능하고네. 너무 제대로 와. 사체.
너무 깨워져.
때문에 왔다 삼매세.
네.
된도는 셔요. 다들 자야 돼.
더 저는 산 되게 성파지.
간지 갔어. 사체 삼에서 거는 둔두고 남자한테 켈렌 되게질 시자지는 곳에 되게 들어가서. 야, 저도 강갈라 대파 시에서 말이야. 대는 저자에 나라야. 사체 삼에로도 두시에.
So Geshe said this according to the the Abhidhamma kosha text, that's how it is defined. So by that definition, again, you're right. So from there, it sounds like it is like, but again, this is referring to those who accept, and those who doesn't accept. That's the difference. So of course, in general, then what you're saying is right. But for those who accept, so contaminated aggregate, then you can differentiate again that, okay, so this object, this will apply, this object, it will not apply. So it has to be, again, object itself has to be a contaminated object also. So if the object itself is not a contaminated, then it cannot give rise to contaminations. So again, so you will not say, you can't say exactly if the Chinese had hatred towards Buddha Shakyamuni's statue. You can't exactly, but they might have different delusions that makes them want to destroy that. So it's not because of that, but because of their own delusions. So anyway, so that way, then you say, okay, this object you can say contaminated, this object you cannot say contaminated, like that. But again, that's according to the Abhidhamma kosha text, where it explains the definition of contamination. And so according to that, then you say, okay, yes, but Buddha Shakyamuni's statue is not contamination.
Okay. Okay, 다반이 사기만. Okay. Can you someone also give me that 동아치 근죽은 대시셔야 근죽.
So before we stop, can somebody give an example of true origin? That's easy, right? True origin. So we talked about true suffering. So what is the example of true origin? Maribos.
다가진 내자다 왔.
그래, Maribos.
Maribos요. 거기 또 손으로 잡는 것도 왔어.
정말 된다.
내자도.
말고도 인데. 군주는 군주 약속.
이것도 용으로 와. 다시 또도시. 아니, 고백은 되지.
And okay, so ignorance, attachment, any kind of delusion, right? There are many, yes. And what about the true cessation? Example of true cessation.
Well, having realized emptiness, but
That's one of the path, right?
That's the path, right?
Yeah.
That's the mean for it, cessation. So what will be a cessation?
No.
Did you have Kim? Huh?
Wisdom, for example.
So wisdom will be.
The antidote to ignorance.
Wisdom will be the path. Huh? Liberation, yes. The cessation. True cessation is liberation, right? We're talking about what? We're talking about the path, to achieve something, the true cessation. So, through the wisdom that is emptiness directly, we achieve liberation. So, liberation will be the true cessation. 가서 다 전부.
다 좀 지진 거 봐. 아니 빠지면 없지 거 봐.
And then, of course, and then when we talk about true cessation, there are many different kind of true cessation, right? So true cessation, each path has true cessation. And on the path, in the path of seeing, path of meditation, especially in the path of seeing and path of meditation, when you talk about uninterrupted path, and then a totally liberated path. So each time you achieve totally liberated path, you achieve true cessation. So the totally liberated path comes after the uninterrupted path. So that's all in the path of meditation and path of seeing. So there's an uninterrupted path of the path of meditation, uninterrupted path of the path of seeing, and then again also there's an uninterrupted path of the first ground, second ground, third ground. So each time you go, and then soon after the uninterrupted path, there's a totally liberated path. So the totally liberated path itself is the true cessation.
Okay. 다 슈마 세계로 오셔는 어떤 데도 시시 나도 샤면은 고파리 쉐와르 캬노 나도 미다든 세지샤 마다나 양레금도 세계로 때도 샤고
남들이 딕사라 남들 다 있어서라다.
남들 시에서 남들 당기대 봤어.
So yeah, so it's good to know the example. When you say example, means like that, you know. So you understand now, right? So true path, we already talked a lot, right? Everybody can say together. Example of true path. Stimulating emptiness directly.
Okay. 그때나 지금 나도 로로 제다 왔지. 지금 너도 때문에 야 때문에 오도 저러 봤더니 많이 봐지.
So you know you have to show something right after you studied, you know. So you study, and then somebody asks you something, they just keep quiet. Then no.
They go to another looking for. Okay.
Just very quickly, like this word that Damcho, you were just using, uninterrupted or uninterpreted path.
Uninterrupted.
Uninterrupted.
Yeah, not interrupted, you know. So continuous.
Right. Thank you.
맨날 샹조스만 봐봐도 냠바셔도 다 니고요. 냠바셔는 냠바셔도 말은 용모지라 인간이시는 냠바셔도 그래 봤어. 용모도 가지 보나 아니 냠바 티동서 다 왔다 없어요. 다 고대시 동도 그래 봤어. 내가 제다 봤어.
So you know, so this that uninterpreted path only comes after the path of sin, you know, and path. So you don't have uninterpreted path before that. So there are many delusions, right? So each delusion you apply meditation on the wisdom realizing emptiness, you know, to overcome that delusion. And so you meditate until you overcome that. So that's like uninterruptedly you meditate, you meditate on that. And then when you have overcome that, then in the moment you overcome that, then you achieve the next one, which is called the totally liberated path, and that is the true cessation.
대갑되네 야 니모 심바다 봐야겠다. 노성은 뭐 속사. 야 팅 니모 거디 로드나야 돈이야 냠바 담에 냠바 샤네야.
So that is done through the meditative, during the meditative equipoise. And then that's called the post-meditative equipoise. The meditative equipoise and post. So during the meditative equipoise, you meditate on the uninterrupted path, and then with that you overcome the delusion and you achieve the totally liberated path. And then when you achieve that, then after that you come out of that meditative equipoise, and it's called the post-meditative equipoise. So during the post-meditative equipoise, you engage in other practice to accumulate merit, so that you will be able to overcome the next delusion that you are going to abandon.
Okay, that teaching again, then beyond, go. Then, okay, now we stop. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Gil. Turn to page 39 of the prayer book. Saji Jung Xing Mei Tog Tram Ri Rab Ling Zi Ni De Gen Ba Di Sam For my two collections, vast the space that I have amassed from working with effort at this practice for a great length of time, may I become the chief leading Buddha for all those whose minds' wisdom eye is blinded by ignorance. May I reach the state, may I be held in your loving compassion for all my lives, Manjushri. May I find the best of complete graded paths of the teachings, and may I please all the Buddhas by practicing. Using skillful means drawn by the strong force of compassion, may I clear the darkness from the minds of all beings with the points of the path as I have discerned them. May I uphold Buddhist teachings for a very long time. With my heart going out with great compassion in whatever direction the most precious teachings not yet spread or once spread have declined, may I reveal this treasure of happiness and aid. May the minds of those who wish for liberation be granted bounteous peace, and the Buddha's deeds be nourished for a very long time. By even this graded course to enlightenment completed due to the wondrous virtuous conduct of the Buddhas and their children, may all human and non-human beings who eliminate adversity and make things conducive for practicing excellent paths never be parted in any of their lives from the purest path praised by the Buddhas. Whenever someone makes an effort to act in accordance with the tenfold Mahayana virtuous practices, may they always be assisted by the mighty ones, and may oceans of prosperity spread everywhere. In that snow mountain encircled land, source of every benefit and joy, may Lord Tenzin Gyatso Chenrezig remain in life till samsara's end. Page 49. Tung Sung Chang Jing Chang Gong Gel Wei Tenzin Yong Pel Wei Gun Zo Dok Por Tse Chong Sung Kur Wei Le Bon Tu Dru Pa Dak So Do Je Gundu Zap Ten Sho. Page 57. Through this virtue may I swiftly, having gained Guru Buddha state, place each and every sentient being without exception in that state. Precious supreme Bodhi mind, may it where unborn arise, and where born never decline, but increase forevermore. Page 75. Mig